Chapter 29. Barely staying afloat. 5th light day of Cantle, 819. 10 days until Sown.
Get up, it's nearly dawn, Catel demands.
How can you know that?
Our water clock, how else?
What's that?
No time, get moving.
Catel races through the caves again, never hesitating on which passage to take. I stop to light my last rush, and I nearly lose her. I can hear water running to our left.
I'd be worried if you didn't. The water filters through the Mendip hills and into the cave parallel to us. It's getting louder. You're hearing the upper falls. Thanks to all the recent rain, the river is much higher than usual.
Higher than I've ever seen it, in fact. She pulls a dried cattail from a pitcher and shakes the free oil from the seed head.
We get the flaxseed oil from the plains druids. Ysella brings it to us every year.
These will stay lit for a quarter of a day, at least. I engage in some safe conversation. Everyone knows that Umacarror is the sacred space, but everyone topside calls it Ogothcarror.
Is Umacarror a discrete place within Ogothcarror, or is the whole underground considered sacred? Of course, it's a real place, and you have been there.
I have.
Was it the Needles? You're just another silly sun-starer, always thinking in visual terms. Down here, vision is the second or third most important sense. Sound is the queen of the senses.
I shake my head. Apparently, that's the closest I'm going to get to an answer. Why didn't we use cattails instead of rushes when we first arrived?
We only use them when we must.
Like the dozen Hedrid had lit in his scriptorium.
That is the most important work we do here. Now quit complaining and help me with the boat.
You have a coracle down here.
How else would we travel by river? Catel says.
But we're underground. How do you see?
That's why I have the burning cattail. Now put the strap across your shoulders and carry the boat to the river.
Are you going to give me a torch? I ask.
Of course not. The hide has been rubbed with flaxseed oil. If this flame sees it, the whole thing will go up in no time.
I can't walk in the dark. I've never been here before, so you'll have to lead the way. She shakes her head at me like I'm stupid.
Fine, but stay well back.
The boat is made from interlocking hazelwood branches. The weave is very open, with branches spaced more than a hand width apart. A deer hide is stretched over the frame, and as promised, coated in oil. Why did you use hazel? Willow is much lighter.
When we go to harvest hazelnuts, we cut down the ones for boat making at the same time.
The boat is only twice as wide as my shoulders, and almost equal to me in height. It's going to be a tight fit for the two of us. Catel increases her pace. I do my best to keep up, but the boat is bulky.
Wait,
I shout. The echoes go on and on. I will never get used to that. Catel faces me from the other end of the passage and starts to giggle. She turns down a corridor and the light disappears with her. I'm left in utter blackness. The boat scrapes against one wall, then the other. I raise both arms to keep myself centered, and the strap slides upward from the front of my shoulders to my throat. I fall backward at once to relieve the pressure. My head hits the thwart, and the crack echoes down the passageway. I lay still and take a breath. I'll be all right, except that I'm well below the ground, in the dark, with walls closing in on me. I have only a crazed woman to rely upon, and she's left me. A glimmer of light appears from behind me, and Catel starts giggling again.
This seat is meant for your butt, not your head.
Thanks. How about we don't run in narrow corridors and leave me stranded in the dark?
I'm just teasing you. We don't need to take any of these passages. The river chamber is right next to where we keep the boat.
Catel, I say, with exaggerated patience, we are trying to look for your sister. How about we stop playing pranks and focus on what matters? She shrugs, before leading me around a wide bend to a narrow beach.
Put the boat in there.
She grabs 2 paddles and joins me.
Get in and slide all the way to the left.
I set the boat down in the quick-flowing water and slide over on the bench.
Set your pack in the boat. I won't have room to sit if you leave it there at your side.
My pack goes beneath the wooden plank against the wall of the boat.
You can't be leaning that far to shore. We'll knock heads when I get it.
I straighten up, even as I feel the boat teetering toward the water.
Slide over more. I don't want to touch you,
she says as she pokes me with an oar. I tumble into the frigid water, my muscles seizing up immediately. I surge out of the water as the boat topples over on me. My pack is the only thing I can think of in this icy darkness. I throw the boat onto the beach and start feeling with my hands and feet. It's not in the boat. From the shore, Catel is laughing. My foot kicks something soft and supple. I lunge for the object in the calf-deep stream. Water trickles from my leather pouch as I retreat onto the beach. I unroll the leather strap. The orchid is in sad shape, but it is still in one piece. Goosebumps line my soaking wet arms and legs. My teeth start to move, but I clamp my mouth shut before my teeth can chatter. I give Catel a dark look and grab a paddle from her. I set the boat back on the shore and get in. I wedge my pack between the wooden frame and deer hide. I drive my oar into the soft sand to keep the boat from tipping again. Catel hums a nameless tune as she inserts a wooden pole into the hole in the centre of the seat. The pole's top is even with my eyes. She places the cattail torch at the top of the pole.
If you tip the boat over again, we'll lose our only source of light, Catel says primly.
I swallow the bile coming up my throat and free my oar from the river bottom.
Have you boated on fast water before?
Now she decides to ask.
No. Keep your weight low and your head overtop your body at all times. Leaning out over the water can cause the boat to tip.
We push off and the current catches us.
Now, paddle, easy strokes.
Once out in the middle of the water, we relax and let the river take us onward. A few turbulent waves are to the left.
See how the centre of the river has a long, flat tongue and the sides are choppier?
Yeah.
We need to stay in the central area as we go through the rapids ahead.
Rapids? I turn to look at her.
Don't rock the boat.
All I want is to distance myself from her, but I can't lean away. The water is churning angrily ahead. The single torch, which seemed so bright when we were on the light sandy beach, fails to illuminate what's in front of us.
Left, she yells.
The light picks up the frothy water ahead as a crosswave enters our path from another passage.
We can't let it push us against the wall. Paddle, harder!
The wave slams up against my side, and for an instant it feels as if we're going to spin around. Water flows into our boat. I dig in with all I have, and we finally breach the wave and reach calmer water.
How do we get this water out? By flipping the boat.
Won't that extinguish the flame?
Yes.
Setting my paddle down, I make a cup with my hands, removing what water I can.
The other way was narrow and filled with stone fingers pointing down at head level.
I'm glad we missed it.
That's the regular route. Instead, we're going to take the lower falls.
We're going over a waterfall. I try not to sound panicked.
It's only the height of 2 men.
2 men? My heart rises to the back of my throat.
Hopefully we won't lose our torch.
Is that it? I point my unsteady hand ahead. The water mounds up, obscuring whatever is behind it.
No, that's just a wave. We can rest while we go over it.
We crest the wave, and I can touch the ceiling if I stretch.
Get down. Brace yourself.
A thick stone finger from the ceiling is racing toward my head. I throw myself back, but not fast enough. It punches my chest, knocking my breath from me. The boat drops from beneath us, and I grab hold for dear life. A veil of white spray obscures the angry wall of wild water in front of us. The boat lists sideways, leaving Catel to face the wave. I lean away from the water as the boat hits a rock. Bouncing from the boat, I'm lost in an icy darkness. The current tosses me wherever it will,
Water forces its way into my mouth, nose and ears. I dare not open my eyes. My head rises above the water and I yell for Catel. The current pulls my legs downward. I take one last breath with equal parts air and water before I'm spun around in the bitter cold current. I resurface and cough up the water in my chest. Once more, my feet are being pulled down. I close my mouth and eyes and sink again into the abyss. I can't feel my arms or legs as I wait for death's kiss on my numbed lips. My head pops up above the surface. I inhale at once and wait to be pulled under. I'm able to get another breath before I realise that I've made it to calmer water. "Grammy?" I hear Catel call from my right. My muscles begin to seize up again. Death is trying to claim me. I feebly kick my legs, propelling myself toward the sound of her voice. "Catel! I'm over here," she says in the total darkness. I use every bit of strength I have to get myself over to her. My hand strikes the boat hard, but I don't feel the pain. I lean into the boat and find my pack still sitting snugly along the side. Rising to my feet, I get out of the water and lean against the smooth stone wall. "What happened?" I ask. "The boat tipped over when you went overboard." My face is burning from the unwanted water intruding through every possible opening. My head aches, and I feel as if I'm about to retch my waterlogged guts out. "Give me your oar," she says. "My oar?" I feel all around my body, as if it's sticking to me and I'm not aware. "It's gone." "I can't believe you'd do that." "I'm lucky to be alive." Before I can say more, the water in my stomach hurls up through me and back into the river. "It doesn't matter," I say, teeth chattering. "I can't feel my fingers anyway, so the oar would be no use." "How do we get out of here?" I ask. "Get back in the boat." My teeth chatter so hard that I'm afraid I may break a tooth. I lock my jaw shut in the inky darkness. I grope for the thwart with my arm and manage to seat myself on it. I refuse to let Catel know how battered I am. We settle the boat on the shore once again, and I sit down on the thwart. Numbly, I realise that my life depends entirely on Catel now. At least in this darkness, she can't see the terror on my face. We push off, and the smooth, swift water carries us on our way. "At least the water is calm now," I manage to say, somewhat casually. "Brace yourself. It doesn't last very long." "What's up ahead?" "Shh, I'm listening." Our pace quickens, and we can hear a dull roar in the distance. I face Catel, but in the total darkness, sight is useless. I dig my fingernails into the wooden seat and lean my head between my legs. The roar is undeniable now. "Brace yourself." Time slows down as I wait for the next catastrophe to arrive. I dare to release the thwart only long enough to check on my pack. The boat starts to spin, but Catel is able to counter. At least I think that's what's happening. The boat tips forward and I push off against the front of the boat with both feet. I lean back to keep from tumbling out of the boat. The boat goes entirely vertical before diving into the water. I choke on some spray, but the boat pops up and rights itself. It's only by force of will that I manage to keep my grip on the wooden bench. "That was awesome," Catel says. The boat sways from side to side and spins slowly to the left. I hear Catel's oar make contact with the water, and the boat stops drifting. As the sound from the falls recedes, it's replaced by the thumping of my heart. "That's the last of the difficulties. We should be out of the caves before long. You can stretch your legs out now." "They've been straight this whole time," I say. "You didn't keep them under the thwart like you're supposed to. No wonder you fell out." With every bit of control that I have, I keep myself from throttling her. I force myself to think about anything other than our predicament. "The great meeting room," I shout. My voice echoes over and over again. "Sorry." "What?" "The great meeting room
is the Umakara. In the dark, vision is useless and sound is king. So the most sacred place would be where all the sounds are collected.
Sound is queen, she corrects me.
You're not as dumb as the typical topsider.